Um, Aloha. For the article that I've been studying and reading, it is known as Teacher Education for Cultural Identity in Fiji. Mostly the research and the training that was done with the teachers was all done in Fiji. And the article was written by Yunaisi Napopo and Jenny Tisdale. The focus of this article was on the relationships between culture and education, and trying to figure out, is there a relationship between the two, or whether it is important to have these two in the classroom, or whether it's important for teachers to know the culture and also the education, Western education in specific. And so we must also understand that there needs to be a balance between Western education and the culture. So we have a young man here from Fiji, a student who needs that balance in the classroom and also in his life. And the next slide, right here, steps in achieving this balance. One, teachers must recognize and affirm their own cultural identities. So teachers need to know who they are, where they came from, the background. They must know their culture and their customs. And then second to that, they must understand and respect the cultural identities of those around them. Also, most of the research and the training was done in the Fiji College of Advanced Education, or the FCAE. Teachers took up courses that's going to prepare them to meet these requirements. How are they going to balance education and culture? And the course was called the Education and Society in the South Pacific. Now, the picture that you see is a young man holding both traditional materials of learning and also the teaching materials of a contemporary school. Later on, we're going to see how these two are going to come together, how they're going to blend together. But before Western education, our people in the South Pacific would communicate through word of mouth in teaching family members, teaching students or young generations about the cultures and the values that we had. Also, just in different ways of learning. It was all done through word of mouth. However, when Western education crept into our society, they pulled away some of our children, pulled them away from home, and most of them have never returned. You can see this airplane, Air Western Education, just a one-way trip. Also with the use of technology. And so the way to put it is that those who are leaving our society and never to return has lost the importance of our culture, and they do not have that firm foundation of our own cultures and beliefs. A Chinese proverb said it best when it says, "We cannot know the village of where we are going unless we know the village of whence we came." So in order for us to be familiar with somewhere that we are going, we need to be familiar with where we came from. We must know our cultures and our customs. In Fiji, most of the students are exposed to the school system of Britain. Such as they are taught math, English, science, commercial studies. The problem is neither of the two major cultural groups have the opportunity to gain knowledge. Either teachers are focusing more on teaching cultures only, or just teaching a little part of the Western education that they are learning. And so Helu Thaman said, neither group is becoming culturally literate. Also along with that is the process of cultural erosion. And again, teachers turn to focus more on one thing, ignoring the other. Teachers are not excited about teaching a particular subject, or these teachers, when they were students, they grew up in a classroom where the process of cultural erosion has already taken place and they were affected. And so there needs to be a balance. The need for balance is very important, because we have realized now the importance of Western education. It brings with it money, power, and also independence. Teachers, if they're given the right training, they will move forward towards a balanced bicultural approach, and also that adds to each person's primary cultural makeup. So wherever you came from, whoever you are, in a classroom, teachers would teach you in a way that you're going to move towards a stage where both culture are given to you, and which it will add to your own primary culture. Also, the teacher education program that was done, most of the training, teachers interacted in groups that represented a given topic. They were challenged to use a variety of techniques, and also they were also challenged to use the role of a different person from a different culture. Presentations format include oral ceremony. They perform a dance or put it into a song, or just discussions or demonstrations. Now, one of the responses that there's this familiar face. One of the response that they have is that teachers excelled the most in the areas that they were familiar with. They displayed a high level of confidence in presenting that one area, or the way to put it is that they do best at what they know best. However, not everyone was comfortable in writing or bringing in to blend the Western education. And just a little note here on the side. After all of this, teachers affirmed that they felt more sure of their identity after the training, but also gained respect for other cultures. So the whole purpose of the training and bringing these teachers together was to blend or bring together culture and Western education. In conclusion, we need to have these two go together, Western education and cultures. We must also appreciate Western imports. They provide new skills for our people. They bring about independence, they bring power, and also provide for our family. And just lastly, with Konai Helo Thaiman, she said, our culture makes us who we are, and with the help of Western education, who will eventually become. And who are we going to become? We're going to become great teachers who are going to live, who are going to inspire, and who are going to also empower our students on both Western education and our own cultures and beliefs and values of our own places or our own country. Mahalo.